Danielle is up there in the lead.
Sorry,
Why? It's so
My first class, architectural style in Oklahoma. Thanks. So I'll be showing you guys different architectural styles that we currently run into here. Some of them that tend to get mixed up, and teaching you guys why it's important to they revise my bulletin, but know your shed. So anyway, so architectural styles in real estate, why does it matter? It's important because it enhances credibility and professionalism when speaking to buyers and sellers.
Come on, I'm done.
Okay.
What's she doing? I just put on.
Take pictures. Oh. So it helps us accurately identify, describe, and market property, which is extremely important because it allows you to clearly explain design feature, functionality, and its historical context. It also builds confidence by demonstrating market knowledge beyond price and location. You will be educated in the styles of homes because it's more than just here, on the light switch, this is the price, and we're located in Penn States. Buyer might be looking for a seller, might be looking for a specific style of home based on what their needs are, and it's your job to educate them on layout and functionality. So location can impact architectural styles. It often reflects climate, terrain, and available natural resources. In the Poconos, styles are shaped by wood landscapes, seasonal living, vacation homes, and mountain weather. Understanding location-based design helps explain why certain features are common or maybe absent in a home. And granted, this isn't related necessarily to the architectural style of a home. Having moved from New Jersey, you also need to educate people on what a stick and a well is. I had no idea what one was. We called it a poop factory. You're welcome. Your order doesn't come from like the. So I worked with clients looking to buy homes here who were in the same position as me that had no idea what a septic or a well is. So in addition to architecture, you do have to, explain that because it's something not common where people are moving from. So architectural knowledge matters when you're listing or buying a home. It enables stronger, more targeted listing descriptions that might attract the right buyers. For example, if you're listing a ranch and you know that maybe people that are, getting older in their age are looking for one level living, they can't do the stairs, they need their washer and dryer on one level, things like that. Like you can target your marketing to that specific client. If they're looking, for the perfect Pocono chalet and, this dream mountains and skiing and things like that. You can also, create your description of the home based on attracting a certain type of clientele. You also set realistic expectations for buyers regarding the layout, maintenance, and potential renovations. So great, a log cabin in the Poconos sounds wonderful and charming, but what are all the maintenance? What's maintenance that comes along with it? The outside, things like that. Maybe a chalet sounds wonderful, and then realize that maybe the pitch of the ceiling is going to work for your client. Like, you have to really get into discussing the style of the home and what the person's needs are if you're on that side. And it also helps you identify homes that will align with buyers' lifestyle, long-term needs. As I said, for example, the ranch. A lot of people, as they're getting older in age, may want a one-level living. They have the potential, to expand the basin if they wanted to, but things like that. It also supports accurate pricing by recognizing style and design impact market of people. So why does architectural styles matter? Buyers don't just buy bedrooms and bathrooms, they buy lifestyle, style, and vibe. Again, you may be looking for a specific style home and you can help your client with that. If they want, again, the Pocono dream and they're looking for the cabin, the chalet, the A-frame, you can help assist with their needs. Knowing architectural styles positions you as an expert, not just a door opener. Switch, turn around. It helps you confidently answer questions like, is this original? Is this typical for the area? It also prevents my favorite, mislabeling homes. Because the house is not a land. A split level is not a room. And see, as I was pulling up homes to use as examples in our MLS, I'm like, okay, type in chalet. And I get chalet, colonial, contemporary, like literally, so you'll have it labeled as all the things. So it's helpful for you because if you label your listings properly with the home, it helps you sell to that client. Rather than putting all the different styles of homes in the MLS. So why it matters when you're listing a home, again, it allows you to market the home accurately and attract the right buyer, and then you can detail your listing description based on the type of clients that you're trying to draw home. You can also highlight desirable features and which buyers expect in that style. It prevents disappointment from buyers who didn't understand the home's design up front. Again, if you look for somebody who wants a very spacious home, maybe an A-frame or chalet may not work for their needs. So keep that in mind. It strengthens your listing descriptions with confidence and clarity instead of generic language. So if you have a ranch, you can highlight that it's one level living, blah, blah, blah. You have a chalet, you can highlight the perks of owning a chalet. It also sets realistic expectations for layout, storage, energy efficiency, and renovation potential. It saves time by narrowing searches to styles that truly fit your buyer's needs. So we'll go through some of the different styles that are common here.
So Danielle, what I'm hearing is that you're probably spending quite a bit of time talking to your buyers prior to taking them out to houses.
Correct.
To lessen the time that you're spending wasting your time looking at things that don't fit.
Correct.
Okay. Because it just sounds like you have a kind of a robust, process.
And also too, I'll ask future questions. So maybe, and I'm kind of in this stage of life where I'm considering maybe one level home, thinking ahead in the future. So you ask the future questions about, the home and what their needs are that can better help them in their buying process. Again, what's your plan for storage? What do you need? Like, if you hone in on their needs, you can better help them. And so you're not taking a tour of the whole entire MLS.
Storage thing is a big deal. So if you have people who are part-time or like STR people,
Correct.
don't care about garages, basements, but if you're living there full time, that's a big deal.
Correct. You may not want some tiny, cute little A-frame that has like a little tiny closet for future.
Right.
My little tiny basement. See. Storage.
The other thing that can be really challenging too, to be different, I think you're with me, try to do a market analysis and nothing's coming up because agents aren't marketing the style correctly. So you can't accurately do, we're hitting all styles to pull out a commercial style.
Not that they're very common, but like I've listed in Dutch colonial, very distinct style of home. Finding a Dutch colonial, it's a contemporary, it's a ranch, and I'm like, it's not even, to know that it's different types of market. Very helpful, whether you're on buyers. So contemporary is one of the most common ones we see here. We see a lot in like the HOA communities, Penn States, Salt Creek, things like that. You have your modern looking contemporary that I kind of envision being like somewhere out on the beach in like Malibu, California or something. And then you have kind of our version of the contemporary style home. They're very, very tall, tall windows. So by their odd size and often tall windows, their lack of ornamentation and their unusual mixtures of wall materials, stone, brick, wood, for instance. Architects designed contemporary style homes in the modern family between 1950 and 1970 and created two versions, the flat roof and the gable roof.
Where do we see a lot of those? Like Penn States, Salt Creek.
Salt Creek, yeah,
like,
the HOA, like
yeah.
it's very common in the HOAs.
That first one that you showed, what's also what I've heard people refer to as a salt box.
Negative.
Right.
I'll
That's
go
what
with that too.
And to me, it'd be raised, like a raised contemporary, because leveled up.
And the salt box, which I actually have a feature slide, like has a very distinct roof feature that makes this not a salt box.
Phil marks salt boxes contemporary most of the time. It's just they don't get salt boxes.
But you guys saw me, I'll show you. I will show you, but wait, there's more. And again, it's not, I feel that's not super common area, I'm saying we don't have them. But the salt box isn't like, I think of the Poconos and what people, this is what we see probably the most. Colonials as well.
We're seeing a lot more of the first ones start to be built though. If you
Yes.
pay attention when you're driving around, like there's one on Camelback Road being built. I'm seeing them in communities more where they're building that modern contemporary here, but yeah, if you go out to the West Coast, they're,
Yes.
What the top one?
yeah,
See them building,
you are, yeah.
I would see that doesn't make sense for the city,
No.
because snow.
Yep.
So,
And that's another thing too, is, you know, when you, like, say an A-frame, they're designed in areas that have heavy snowfall, so the snow just falls right off the roof. So there are different type of elements that were created with homes with, based on where they were located, climate. So we have our colonial, Dutch colonial. So the colonial is referring to a rectangular symmetrical home with bedrooms on the second floor. The double hung windows usually have small, equally sized panes. The Dutch colonial is an American style that originated in homes built by German or Deutsch settlers in Pennsylvania as early as 1600s. The hallmark style of this home is a broad gambrel roof with flaring eaves that extend over the porches, creating a barn-like effect. So granted, this home doesn't have the roof line. It's very distinct right here with the gambrel style roof versus a regular colonial. And this is what makes a Dutch colonial stand out from regular colonial. That's its distinct feature.
I was thinking of Amityville. Because Amityville is done.
Has this window in this.
What they have to know is Cape Cod.
Yes.
Guilty just because they have those dormers, they don't have to take them.
Yes.
Yeah,
Which is,
yeah.
it's not a Cape Cod. Here's one of my favorite, a ranch. You have different style ranch homes, you have a raised ranch and then your flat ranch. Is characterized by one-story pitched roof construction, at times containing a built-in garage, wood or brick exterior, sliding and picture windows, and sliding doors leading to the patios. Raised ranch is exactly that. It's elevated a level. It's a two-story home in which a finished basement serves as an additional floor. It may be built into a slope to utilize the terrain or minimize its profile. So again, ranch is not a mobile home, for the love of God. It is not.
Sure, you get into the mobile ones too.
Oh my God, yeah, that's my favorite one.
So interesting thing is, no, is the taxes on all of those are same, despite the fact that the raised ranch is a lower level that's above grade. Which is one of the little tricks of, if you have somebody who's tax conscious, to be able to say, I can get you something, if the foundation is above grade, it's still considered foundation. So those taxes on all three are the same, which is interesting,
It is.
because you would think like a colonial, which is hardcore on grade, those taxes are completely different, same square
Yes.
footage.
Yes. And another favorite, a split level versus a bi-level. They're not the same. They're not the same. With these two styles of homes, they're often interchanged. They have very distinct features. In a split level, the door enters into the living area and kitchen with stairs leading above and below to bedrooms or additional living area. As you enter a bi-level, there is a landing with stairs leading up to the main living area and bedrooms, and stairs leading down to an additional bedroom or living area. So again, here's your bi-level, and as soon as you walk in the door, it's up or down. When you enter a split level, you have your main living area, and then off to the side is your upstairs, downstairs. So again, often interchanged, often marked incorrectly, not the same.
And another tax, because of that foundation. The way that it is, it's tax savings on those.
Then, just. I guess it's called split because it's kind of split to the side, like the up and downs to the side. Is that what it is? I'm trying to like what I'll remember.
So if you can see right here, like the door, you enter into like a main living area, and then off to the left, once you enter, you'd have stairs to go down or stairs to go up. With this one, you're elevated, so whether the stairs are left or right, but there's stairs immediately going up or stairs immediately going down, and you just have like a landing area. Like you might be able to put some shoes and some coats there, but you're either going up or down.
There's no living space when you walk in.
No, it's like walls, you walk up or you walk right down. And typically, like on a bi-level, you'll have, you know, your kitchen, living room, some bedrooms, and then downstairs, you know, a family room, possibly some bedrooms as well. And again, if any part of a bi-level is below, like it's below grade, period, even this much. Two style homes that tend to sometimes be confused with are the Craftsman and the Cape Cod. So the Craftsman, it's a style which was also widely billed as the California bungalow by architects, featured overhanging eaves, slow slung gable roofs, and wide front porches framed by pedestal-like tapered columns. Materials often included stone, rough-hewn wood, and stucco. Many homes have wide front porches across part of the front supported by columns. Cape Cod, often confused at times with a Dutch colonial, is some of the first houses built in the United States were Cape Cods. The original colonial Cape Cod homes were single-sided, one-story cottages with no dormers. A 20th century Cape Cod is square or rectangular with 1 or 1.5 stories and steeply pitched gable roofs. It may have dormers and shutters.
And it's got a basement.
Yes. Or courses.
That upper level might seem more like an attic when you walk in the dormers, even though it's finished often. The ceiling
The pitched.
inside.
They're like windows that kind of are built to kind of extend out of the roof.
Cities can have them too. Yeah.
So they can be, like this one does, but they can be interchanged as well, even though not. Salt box and bungalow. So a bungalow is a narrow rectangular 1.5 story home with low pitched gabled or hipped roofs and small covered porches at the entry. The style became so popular that you could order a bungalow kit from Sears and Roebuck. The name bungalow had its origins in India, where it indicated a small thatched home. Here is a salt box. It's a New England colonial style home, got its name because the sharply sloping gabled roof that resembled the boxes used for storing salt. The steep roof line often plunges from 2.5 stories in the front to a single story in the rear. In colonial times, the lower rear portion was often used as a partially enclosed shed, which was oriented north as a windbreak. These square rectangular homes typically have a large central chimney and large double hung windows and shutters. So this right here is a salt box. It has the smaller roof and a steeply pitched roof in the back. And yes, at times it does have some type of shed or coverage over the rear portion of it. Two more that often get labeled incorrectly in the MLS all the time. A chalet and an A-frame. A chalet has vertical walls with a steep pitched roof and separate vertical walls. An A-frame, the roof line extends down to the foundation, forming an A shape with no separate vertical walls. So here's the key feature between the two. Chalet has the walls here. An A-frame is literally the roof goes right down to the ground. So when you're talking with a client, maybe just confirm if they say, I'm looking for an A-frame house, like explain that there is a difference between an A-frame and a chalet. Maybe they truly don't want an A-frame, they want more of a chalet style home. And then also to explain to them with an A-frame, it's very pitched. So that might not be something that is suitable for their needs. Whereas like say chalet, you have more of your straight vertical walls and maybe a little bit more space to utilize.
Thanks to COVID, they're building A-frames like crazy here. Like, we haven't seen them in a lot of years. Now all of a sudden they're popping up like crazy, so.
It actually saved a lot with that kind of style. It's like
The bottom one.
yeah, it's become mansion A-frame.
Yeah.
Selling it for like $1 million.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's where,
Like for a while, too.
yeah.
I think that's where I got from. Like,
They have twins, they're right on Patman and one of the streets over there, and yeah, it's twins, one is sold and one is not.
they're kind of cool. Not gonna lie.
Cool. They were big.
Oh, the Victorian. My favorite. Me too. Me too. Yes. So Victorian and traditional. Victorian homes, often get mixed in as well. But their inventive multi-story floor plans often include projecting wings, several porches and balconies, and multiple chimneys with decorated chimney pots. Decorated wooden gingerbread trim, scrolled and rounded fish scale patterns frequently grace its gables and spindled porches. The curved tower, called a turret, is a distinct feature of the Victorian. And so right here is what your turret is. And a lot of Victorians do have a lot of intricate woodwork and gingerbread lattice and things like that, which makes them stand apart. You have a traditional home. A traditional style home is characterized by symmetrical facades, classic layouts with defined living and dining rooms, and timeless architectural details like pitched roofs, gabled roofs, and evenly spaced windows. These homes often feature exteriors of brick or stone and can include elements like front porches, columns, and dormers.
So these different styles is much, is just as much about the outside as it is the inside. Because looking at the traditional, it doesn't look traditional to me, but when they talked about inside of the house, that's not a question, which is observation, because it, to me, it doesn't look traditional.
And when you go in, it's very like living room, dining room, pretty like structured, I guess you could say.
And we were in Victorian Central over here in Eastburg, we find lots of them over here.
Historic district.
Yeah.
Oh, they're beautiful.
They're fantastic.
They're beautiful.
Traditionals get mislabeled as colonials.
Absolutely. Absolutely. My favorite. A mobile home versus a manufactured. These are not ranches. They're not ranch homes. Both types of homes are factory built. They can be single or multi-section, which can be called double wides. They're transported to a site to be installed on a foundation. Mobile homes are typically placed on a concrete slab with skirting around the bottom perimeter that may enclose a metal chassis, whereas manufactured homes are typically on a foundation. So with a mobile home, this is called skirting. And for anybody that's not familiar with them, literally they have a hitch. Like you could theoretically just hook them up to the back of your truck and drive them away. So they utilize a motor vehicle title. They're handled a little bit differently on the buy and list side. So be mindful when a mobile home is considered on both the list or buy side, as they can be on owned land, leased land, or within a co-op. And they do require a motor vehicle title rather than a deed. Verify that mobile home financing is available, as not all lenders offer mobile home financing. Huge. So to my knowledge, there is only 2 co-ops in Pennsylvania. One co-op is located in Mount Bethel, Evergreen. So a co-op is where the owners of the mobile home actually own part of their shareholders in the park. That's a whole nother animal. There are mobile home lenders that do not deal with co-ops, and I learned that the hard way about a week before closing. So if you ever need a mobile home lender, I have a wonderful one. Wonderful, save my ass. So yes, they're very different. And again, like a manufactured, it's typically brought in and put on a concrete slab, like a foundation, whereas the mobile home is literally, theoretically, you could just.
So if you're listing them, you gotta be really careful,
Yes,
because the values are exponentially different.
yes. So if you have a client, again, if you're like on the buy side and say, I'm looking for a ranch, people are gonna label mobile homes as ranch homes all day long. Have that conversation with your client and make sure they're truly not looking for a mobile home for a ranch, or you may have a client looking for a mobile home that says it's a ranch as well. And most of the mobile homes around here, I mean, you do have some sort of community or like an HOA type thing. There are some on own land, but I would say most are probably within some sort of community. Which then you have lot rents in addition to purchasing a mobile home, you have a monthly rental fee too.
Manufacturers get a bad rap, they really do, because people going, oh, maybe it's built somewhere else. I find it to be more structurally sound because they have to travel, as opposed to being built on site.
Correct.
You know,
I had somebody close to me, they built a huge Cape style home, but it was manufactured, and it literally came from out in like Lancaster in 4 pieces on a tractor trailer. And it was the coolest thing to watch them with a crane, like put together, and you would never know it was built. somewhere else.
But those can be, they're very different with appraisal, because there really isn't appraisals for, I mean, it's hard to find them for mobile homes, so you have to compare them to mobile homes.
Correct.
That's it.
Correct. So
Manufactured homes can be in any style as well.
they can be, they can be.
When you take, I think of it's basically when I see that.
Correct.
Very similar. But the way I look, that looks like, well,
And again, like it was a 2-story Cape Cod huge home, and it was manufactured. It was the cool, like I said, it was the coolest thing watching them put it together. And then they come in, they finish it on a sheetrock, and you would never know it was built in a factory somewhere.
So how do you guys?
A mobile home typically, like I said, what? A manufactured home?
Or this is. What, a large,
You should be able to identify it by the tax record.
Under the foundation,
You can see that as well.
like clipped together down there.
Attics too, they have trusses,
Yeah.
that's not that.
They're structured
They're
differently.
like Legos, yeah, down basically, yeah, it's fun.
But the mobiles are getting tricky, you know, I'm starting to see that the skirting that they're putting around, I had one that was in Humbletown that was, oh, it's so hard to tell. You gotta get in there, it looked like an attic foundation,
The
is what
inspector.
they had done, exactly, and I'm like, let's just go in there and take a gander at it, because it was listed as a ranch. You know, and you go in and it's clear, like you say, clearly defined by the chassis and tie downs, if there's tie downs, if it was literally straight like the blocks. It's a mobile.
And you can see literally like the mobile home, it has a metal frame on, like a trailer, like has a metal frame and still has the tires.
Some in the special
They, they still have the tires enclosed around the. Okay. There, oh, I did not include that, it's like, yes, there, it's like after a certain year, they're technically considered manufactured, not mobile.
Really?
There was, yes. There is.
Interesting. I know with financing on mobiles, it's really tricky because they won't finance based on certain years the house is built. It just is not financeable in a lot of cases, and the down payments for those are significant.
I know I had a buyer that was looking at one and the lender asked right away what year it was, and I told her I think it was 1974, she said, no, you didn't.
It's too,
I think it was 19, it was either 76 or 78. Which one's the last he's paying, 78?
that's
78.
All right, that's 76, I get that 2 weeks.
where do you most commonly find the VIN number?
that's a good question.
Usually on the side of the front,
I would,
it's kind of like a license plate.
Yeah.
Right? You know, and you see them either like right by the door or down by where they would haul it. That's where you see them typically.
I've seen it there, I've also seen it by an electrical panel in. Also seen it in a room where they have like washing and dryer, like the utilities only, had it on the wall.
it's
Just remember, I was first told to look for it in the kitchen, in the cabinets, I've never seen it there, but
But you hit the nail on the head. but
wondering where it's most common.
The electrical system is a dead giveaway from mobile too. The electrical and the HVAC system, like, they're always in the closet.
Yeah.
You know, it's like those little temporary ones that you find in a driveway mobile home. Yeah.
true story.
Sometimes you see them with little, where they put them together, they have those little strips going down. Like, they're like an inch.
Yeah, like it kind of looks like the fire cover, but where they have the paneling
Yes.
together, they have like this seam.
Yep.
It's very distinct.
You can see you're not a fan. Yeah.
They're fun.
They're fun.
They're fun.
When the MLS can crack down on people who transfer mobile homes, some of the list.
So, and it's been a while since I listed a mobile home. When they changed the MLS, I think now, I'm not certain, so don't hold me to this. You might have to select ranch, and then underneath, there's like a subcategory where you can select mobile, I believe. So, yeah, before I think each sale just put. Didn't have to. Oh my gosh. Not a fan. And then you have some homes that also are a blend of different styles of architecture. They might not adhere strictly to one architectural style. Instead, they may often incorporate a blend of features drawn from multiple influences, reflecting changes in design trends, personal preferences, and renovations over time. These hybrid styles continue to contribute to the unique character and individuality of each property. So for example, this one, it kind of has a turret like a Victorian. This one could sort of be Dutch colonial-ish. It has a turret also, like, so it could be a blend of, you know, different features, craftsman-ish. So it could be labeled differently, but if you have a home that is a specific style, please label it appropriately. Please.
That's the takeaway for today.
Yes, please. So like Robert and I go in that list, just like, let's look up a lead frame. Let's look up a range, and it's just amazing how you see everything except what you're looking for.
So imagine that if you're a seller and your agent is mislabeling the home. Or if you are a buyer and you're trying to find a specific home and you're just putting in searches and it's not coming up. So you're doing your client a disservice by not knowing what you have.
Absolutely, and you as an agent, your job is to sell and help somebody buy a home, so you. It also helps you, whether it's the buyer or the side, you know, it helps you with comps. If things are labeled correctly in MLS, then you can do better research for your client. And price a listing more appropriately, or not have to do it as much research sometimes.
So like if you have a manufactured home and a mobile home, your pricing is going to be different.
It is. And if
you're
you're the ranch in there too.
Yeah.
Very, very different. And then as far as architecture, you could totally go down the rabbit hole because there's different, absolutely. So this was a book that Karen let me borrow. I mean, you could, it's a pictorial glossary of like specific things in a home that makes it this time period or this type of architecture, from, you know, gables, the style of a roof, like ornamentation, decoration, you know, around a window. So I believe the whole slideshow will be emailed to you guys, but you could really go down the rabbit hole of architectural styles, what time period, where it originated from, Italian Renaissance, Greek revival, things like that, which I won't even get into. But I just wanted to highlight some of the most common ones that we see here in the Poconos and, you know, even Lehigh Valley, and how to best help you guys with identifying them and listing properly and helping you have the conversations better with your clients to see what their needs are when buying a home. So pretty much.
Could you talk just a little bit about townhomes versus co-ops? Because we have like Lake Harmony, for example, as a collection of both. So there's difference between what you get. Want to talk about it?
Yes, okay.
Your townhomes are, you know, they could be houses, you could have 4 or 5, you know, in a row. And your townhome, depending on your HOA, could maybe cover the exterior of it. You know, or maybe you have to be responsible for the roof, you know, or you have to be responsible for the deck. With a co-op, you're really going inside and that's it. So if you're going to like Mid Lakes in Lake Harmony, huge price points for those properties, but they are co-op in style in that you live the inside and you don't own anything on the outside. So you're paying a hefty fee to have those things on a schedule, you know, so that's kind of, we're seeing a few more of those like in the Lehigh Valley where they're starting to be built on a townhome type thing. Just on it.
Thank you, thank you. I didn't have experience that one.
I don't know.
Thank you for your expertise. So I don't know if you guys have any questions. That's pretty much the end of my presentation for you. No? Well, thank you. I just figured that some.
Oh,
We have a little bit of time with it. I'll talk next week.
so your frustration, you know, the reason why you're doing this is kind of your frustration with trying to find things, right? That are just being mislabeled to the MLS and just, you know, even appraisers have trouble with it sometimes. So we
Right.
also appraisers wanting, you know, details about it all.
My biggest struggle, one of them was the Dutch Colonial. I had a list. And granted, they're not a super common one in this area, but it still would be helpful if the ones that are here were labeled properly. So it helps in trying to pull comps when you're trying to price homes. You know, it definitely helps with your buyers. If you know, some buyers are all over the place, they just send you pictures off of Zillow or whatever they may do, and you have to really hone in on what are your needs, like what are you looking for? You know, is this style home really beneficial for you? What are your future plans? So you can better help your client that way as well.
What got you into styles in particular? Because you seem to have a thing for it, you like them.
Before I even got into real estate, I've always liked houses. I love old homes. I've always liked architecture. I love old homes. Like we had,
Thanks with the MLS bit, right?
oh my gosh, yes.
The MLS has a nice little cheat sheet that you can print out, you know, and if you're new and you're not quite sure, it's always a good idea to go on tours, set up agent reviews, some of these things, just to try to get familiar with different styles. I used to do that all the time when I was new, you know, just to kind of know a little bit more about what I'm talking about.
So, yeah. And like I said, also like I worked with a buyer, she was really getting back in this, and she's like, I want to be X miles from Mount Bethel. Well, when you're talking 20 miles from Mount Bethel, you're driving all over. Oh my gosh, yes, yes. And I'm like, okay, what style home? And she, you know, style home. Oh, you know, and then she's gonna need all these, everything. And as I got deeper into what her needs were, future plans with that, I realized people were not they were looking more of one level living. They're old, you know, so it's like you get a buyer telling you all these things, showing you all these things that you really need to hone in and save. You save yourself a headache and drive time and gas.
Yeah.
If you really get down to like the root of what their needs are.
Also, what type of furniture you're trying to house. When I first got in, it was regulation side pool tables and 4-poster beds, which were a bitch. Like you're not putting them in a lot of things. If you need some, if you go, I'm gonna get this bed in here, you know.
As in like maybe a smaller chalet or A-frames, you know, have a huge 4-poster California king bed and these huge armoires and blah, 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 like you're probably not gonna fit that in.
Right.
Be mindful. And looking too, you know, on the buy side, not only with architecture, but you'll have buyers, you know, I was on Zillow, I was on this, that, and they send you all these great homes. Then when you want to get an idea of like what they're looking for in square footage as well too, because they might see this chalet and it's cute and like, oh, there's no room in here. I'm like, well, I did tell you it was 200 square feet. Like, the closet's this big. So like you really need to have this conversation. Granted, I understand some buyers don't understand fully square footage, or they think the number sounds big and it's really not, but that's very helpful and saving the day too.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. And Bob. Oh yeah, it's Christmas time for Bob.
But it's hurt for everybody.
Bob, I will happily hand this to you.
Already?
Yes.
Big contract?
Negative. No, I'm good. Thank you.
There's some. There's stuff from Danny's. Good. Thank you, Danny. After one or two of them, you
Oh,
Medicine stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. They've been talking about like a white grip.
Very. It's white bacon.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway.
So I'm ready for spring.
Much reading.
They should have been on the basement, and Bob can correct me, basement square footage is. I'll stand.
You need one of these? Yeah. You're welcome.
Maybe you're down for the best. Here.
Sure, she's coming back.
What's that?
Yeah,
Is this your hearing?
your pirates hear me. Wedding, and like, this is the bride's side, this is the groom's side.
Last couple.
I'm sorry, I was in Florida last week,
Oh.
and then yesterday, I was assisting Karen. Big extravaganza, a lot going on yesterday. I'm glad I was mixed to not let they've actually gone. I let it was nice to not thank God she's gone. Topics, the topics of course. Me. Yeah. Here. Sure. Is this your hearing? Yeah, okay.
I think it's mine.
Is it? Oh, okay. We were getting ready to give it to Dominic to wear. Thank you. To you? No, no, no more. What's your hearing? Sharon? Because I